Hi everyone, my name is Gil Patriarca. I am one of the product application specialists for the Grilles, Registers, and Diffusers team. Today we will be presenting the Price Engineer Toolkit for Microsoft Excel. Our aim for this tool is to provide a cloud-based dynamic solution for providing schedules, performance outputs of price products for different categories. We will be concentrating on grills, registers, and diffusers. If you would like to learn a little bit more about our VAVs and air terminals and how it works with our Excel toolkit, then I urge you to look at the description of this video. On today's agenda, we will start with looking at how to download the tool, and then we'll look at the quick links options where we can find different buttons or different ways to access the website through the Excel toolkit. And then lastly, we'll discuss about how to put together different grills, registers, and diffuser schedules and get performance outputs. There are two methods of downloading the product. One way is to go through the website, opening your web browser, going through priceindustries.com, and then going to under resources, software, and in here we'll scroll down and look at the Engineer Toolkit. Within here, you can see that we have two different toolkits. The main one that we're going to be focusing on today is our Excel toolkit. And then you go through download Excel. To be able to use this toolkit, you need first a stable internet connection, you need a web browser, you need at least Microsoft Excel 2019, and as well as a Microsoft 365 account to be able to actually download the app. With that said, within this tool, I have already logged in, and I can, once I've accessed that link, it now leads me to the Microsoft Marketplace directly to that Price Engineer Toolkit. From here, I can then go get it now, and then press get it now again. And then it'll let it do its thing in its background. And then it should have it installed now in your Microsoft Excel. So from here, I can then go to open in Excel. And it should now launch Microsoft Excel. And then from here, you can see that it has installed the Price Engineer Toolkit. So this is one of the ways that you verify if it's installed properly. You'll get this home page here that says Price Engineer Toolkit. As well, at the top of your Excel tabs, it should say Price Industries. The other method of downloading this product, is going to the home page here, then going to add-ins, and then searching up price, which you should then here show your Price Industries toolkit here, where you can download and add the add-in as well through Excel. If we then reopen Microsoft Excel and then open a new blank workbook, that tab should now stay at the top, the Price Industries tab, meaning that every time you open your Excel, the Price Industries tab is ready to be used. Let's now move on to the features of the tool, starting with the quick links features of the toolkit. First, we have our more information. So the more information here shows you different product lines under the Price Industries website. So from here, if you wanted to learn a little bit more on each of the department and our different products for each department, you can just click on these links. For example, if I click GRDs, you can then review the different functions and commands that we use. As well, this contains different updates of the product. If you were looking on when was the last update and some patch notes on the product, as well as a contact link here if you would like to provide feedback and support. The website quick link function is just a button to take you directly to the website. So here, rather than going to your web browser and typing in priceindustries.com, that link in Excel will take you directly to the website. One of the most prominent features of the Excel toolkit is going to be our competitor cross-reference. Here, what this cross-reference does is it enables you to be able to search our database of price products and finding the equivalence of these price products to other competitor models. So for example, when I click on competitor cross-reference, a side panel will appear here where you can then search up other competitor models. So if I search up Omni, it will then give me a list of different products that are going to be equivalent to this Omni model. So here we can see that in general, the SPD or square plaque diffuser at Price here is going to be the equivalent to the Omni models, but then it'll also show you other Omni models that may be equivalent to other models, such as the Omni-AA, which would be equivalent to our ASPD, which is the aluminum version of the square plaque diffuser. As well, with this cross-reference toolkit, it allows you to filter on different models as well. So if you find that you need to narrow down your searches, you can narrow down your search to different manufacturers. As well, if the model you're searching provides a result for multiple different product groups, you can also filter to the different manufacturer or the different departments here at Price as well. If you're also looking just for a general model list from a specific manufacturer and you want to figure out what is the different price, so for example, if you are working on a schedule where you have multiple lists of different competitor models, you can look at a general list here under model as well. One of the benefits here of this tool is being able to access the different cross-references that we have. So that is it for our quick links features of the Price Toolkit. Let's now move on to actually creating different schedules for grills, ceiling diffusers, and slot diffusers. So here under the Price Industries tab, where we can create different grills, registers, and diffuser schedules, you'll have three different types of sample tables that you can make. One for grills, so here you can have your louvered grills, your egg crate grills. You have one for ceiling diffusers, which you'll have your square plaque, square cone, and round cone diffusers. And lastly, we have our slot diffuser sample schedules, where here you'll have your TBD and CEF and SDS models. So depending on which model you want to create for, you need to look at a specific sample table. So starting off with the grills table and how to make one, we'll go to the Price Industries tab, then go to the grills schedule here, and now we'll make a sample table. Once the tool has finished loading the table, you'll then be greeted with two different sheets for this toolkit. One is going to be what we call our legend sheet, and then another is going to be our sample sheet. Because it is a grill sample table, it will say grills legends, and the other one will say grills sample. Under the grills legends table is going to be where your how-to directions are, and as well different parameters and the descriptions for each of these selection parameters. So when using the tool, if you ever need to, if you ever require to know what is the terminology of a specific model or different option selection parameters that we have, it's always good to look at the Legends tab, as it'll give you more information of our product offerings as well as the options. Also, it will also include instructions as well. So meaning that if there's a symbol that pops up when you're making your schedule, you can also figure out based on the instructions on this Legends on how to proceed when getting errors and such. We can then move on to the actual part where we're scheduling the products. Namely, for this one, it will be called the grill sample tables. In blue over here, you'll have your inputs, where you have to complete the inputs without any errors to get your outputs in yellow. The outputs in yellow will typically be performance, and it's going to be based on ASHRAE standard 70. This is going to be one of the biggest benefits of the tool, as the performance that you will be getting from these tools are going to be cloud-based, meaning this is going to be the most up-to-date information that you'll get in terms of performance. As well, with this tool, you can interpolate performance without having the need to manually do hand calculations and such. So for example, let's take a look at adding a louvered supply grill. Starting with the 510 model, a single deflection steel grill. For supply blade deflection, because this is an adjustable grill, we offer performances for 0-degree blade deflection, 22.5 and 45-degree blade deflection. For this example, let's select 22.5. For the size of the grill, which will enter under the two columns here, duct size A and duct size B, we can enter 14 by 14. The great thing about this tool is that there are also error checks built within different input parameters of the tool. So for example, if I enter a size that is something that is not a standard of our product line, so for example, let's enter a really large number. 1000 inches, you can see that a data validation pop-up will come up and letting you know what is the proper size that you should be entering in these cells. So going back, we'll enter again 14 by 14. For airflow, as default, it will say 0. The great thing about this tool as well is that it will let you know what is the airflow range that you must enter for this size. So meaning that because the default is 0 and it's not within the range, it's going to give me an error under the velocity output cell here. So for this case, let's enter an airflow of 500 CFM. And then for delta T, in many of our catalog performance, a lot of the performance is going to be measured in isothermal properties, meaning that the supply temperature matches the room temperature. But what the other great thing about this tool is that it does allow you to add performance for heating or cooling. So meaning that if I put a delta T of 10 degrees, the performance that I will get will reflect 10-degree heating, and it'll adjust my throws as such. So one of the benefits of this tool is that unlike our catalog performance, you can adjust the performance here based on your heating or cooling temperatures. And with that said, now that we've entered all our inputs, we now have our outputs to the right, and we now have a complete line for the 510 grill. Now, let's try entering a return grill. So let's look at entering a 630 grill. So the 630 grill is an aluminum return grill with 45-degree blade deflection and 3/4 inch spacing. Now, because this is a fixed return grill and it does mention the blade deflection, we do need to enter the blade deflection here as 45. For the size, let's enter a 12 by 12 size. And then like before, it does show us the range of CFMs required. For this selection, because I have to stay between 167 to 966 CFM, let us now enter 400 CFM for the size. Because your delta T properties is really going to only affect your throw, and in return applications, we're not concerned of throw, you can leave the delta T as 0 for return applications. Lastly, let's also try entering a non-louvered grill. So for example, let's take a look at our Model 80 grill, which is an egg crate return grill with 1/2-inch cube core. Because this is a non-louvered grill and it doesn't have any blade deflection, we're going to keep supply blade deflection blank. We'll enter the size as 8 by 8 and now enter airflow within the range. So we'll go 250 within this range. And from there and here, we also now have performance for our return egg crate grill. Notice that the model list may be limited, but this tool is constantly being updated. So as we go through the future, we will have more models added as well. Also, if you were looking for a specific model to be added to this tool sooner than later, you can also give us feedback as well through that more informations tab and then contacting us through the relevant information that we shown earlier. So that's it for creating a grill sample table. The great thing about this is because this is in Excel, many of the Excel functions that you may use day to day will carry over to this table. So for example, if I wanted, I can copy and paste a new line. So that way it'll save me some time. I can even copy multiple lines and add them as well here to the lines. I can also delete lines if I don't need certain lines for the table. As well, I can also add more lines if I did want to add more lines and expand my table. And I can also use Excel formulas to be able to manipulate the table as well. So for example, if I wanted everything as an 8 by 8 size, but I wanted to show a wider range of performance, so rather than just 250 CFM, I can then go put a formula in here. So I'll go equals the previous cell, and I want to show performance based on increasing 50 CFM increments. And then I can drag down like any Excel table. And then now I have a range of performance for multiple lines for the egg crate grills. And that's it for the grill schedule. Now let's take a look at creating a ceiling diffuser schedule. Like the grill schedule, we'll just move on to the icon beside the grills, which is going to be ceiling diffusers. We can then add a sample table. And then like the grill schedule that we showed earlier, 2 sheets will be produced when you make a ceiling diffuser sample table. One of them is going to be the legend table. Again, if you're looking for more information on the selection parameters as well as instructions for the table, you can look at the legends table for ceiling diffusers. And then for actually entering the information and creating the schedule, we'll look at the ceiling diffuser sample table. And again, because this is Excel, you can also rename these for your own sake as well. Within the ceiling diffuser sample table, you'll have your inputs on the left, and then your outputs to the right. And then like the previous tables, we'll then just fill out all the inputs to get our outputs. So starting with the model, I will select the ASP model, which is aluminum square plaque diffuser. For inlet size, you have a wide range of inlet size, but I will choose 6x6 over here. For square diffuser size, note that for these two columns, square diffuser size A and B, like the name mentions, because this is a square diffuser, these two dimensions must match. So for this example, I am going to use a 12x12. There are also built-in error checks for the inlet size as well. So meaning that if you enter an invalid inlet size, for example, 14, it will give me an error saying that I must enter a different inlet size like you see here. This error that is showing is because the inlet size I've entered is much larger than the square diffuser size. So we need to make sure that we follow the inlet sizes that's available on our submittals. As well, you just need to ensure that the inlet size that you enter is smaller than the diffuser size. So again, like earlier, we'll enter an inlet size of 6, and then a 12x12 size for the square diffuser size A and B. And then airflow, again, under the velocity tab, it will show me a range of airflows for performance available for this size. Based on this, I will enter airflow of 150 CFM. And then from here, we now have our fully populated line and with fully populated performance on the right side over here. If we wanted to add a round cone diffuser this time, or a round diffuser, first we have to select a model that's round. So here we'll select the ARCD, which is an aluminum round cone diffuser. We'll enter an inlet size, we'll keep this as 8. Because this is a round cone diffuser and not a square, we need to leave the square diffuser size blank. So we'll press delete on these two tabs here. And then from here again, we must enter a valid airflow. For this selection, I'm going to enter an airflow of 250. And then you will be greeted now with an output for two different lines here. Again, one for the line that we created for a square ceiling diffuser, and then the other for the round diffuser that we have here. And then like the grills table or any other Excel table, you can then manipulate a table by adding cells, copying, pasting cells as well. You can manipulate it with whatever formulas that you like. And that is it for our ceiling diffuser schedules. The last schedule that we will be presenting today is going to be our slot diffuser schedule. Like our previous iterations, we'll then go to the slot diffuser tab and create a sample table. The one extra step that you'll take on the slot diffuser schedule is selecting the model right away. So from here, you have an option of selecting our CF custom flow slot diffuser, our SDS linear slot diffuser, or a TBD T-bar lane diffuser. For this example, I will select CF. So note that the products that you generate within this table will be specific to only the CF model. Now, if I selected the SDS, it's going to be the same thing. It'll be products only directly related to the SDS. Like the grills and ceiling diffusers table, you will also have a legends tab and then your sample tab, which is where you're going to be filling your information. In the legends tab, you're going to have your different models and your different selection parameters and descriptions on them, and as well as instructions for filling out the toolkit. Going back to the actual sample table, here is where we're going to be filling out the performance. So under the model here, where it is only going to appear models directly related to the diffuser we selected or the linear slot we selected, which is going to be the CF models. So here we have the CF, the CFP, and CFT. The main difference is for the CF performance, this is going to be performance for the CF slot without a plenum. If we choose the CFP, we are going to be producing performance for a CF with a plenum on top, namely our CFP engineer plenum. And then if you're looking for performance for our T-bar option for the CF, then we have our CFT model. Specifically because I want to show you guys performance for a plenum option, I will be selecting the CFP. For many of our linear slots, we'll have horizontal and vertical projection, meaning that performance that we produce will either be based on horizontal throw application or vertical throw application. For this example, I'll be selecting vertical throw application. Unique to the CF is the pattern controller's options. And what I mean by that is the CF is going to be one of the only models that is going to have different options for pattern controllers. And specifically, these pattern controllers will need to be in direct correlation with the projection. Because I selected vertical, I must select also a pattern controller where we have vertical performance for. In this case, that will be the jet slot or JS pattern controller. Now, if I ever were to look for horizontal projection, I would then switch the pattern controller to the AES pattern controller. Number of slots will differ from linear slot to linear slot. For the CF, we have available 1 or 2 slot option. I'll be selecting 1 slot option. Slot width, for the CF, we have 1 inch to all the way to 3 inch slot widths. For this example, I'll be using a 1.5 inch slot width. And then under the plenum inlet size, because this does have a plenum, I will select a plenum inlet. For this selection, I will be using an 8 inch inlet. For plenum lengths, our plenum performance is based off 1 foot increments starting at 24 inches. So note that you must enter a length for the plenum performance from 24, 36, 48, or 60 inch lengths. Now, if you're entering a length that's not within here, we do have an error check in this length cell as well, for at least for the plenum. So for example, if I enter something like 49 inches, it'll give me under the velocity option that I need to enter a length that is specific to the requirements that I mentioned. So in this case, let's go back and let's enter a length of 60 inches. Once there, now I can enter an airflow. Again, staying within the range as shown under the velocity tab. So here I will enter 300 CFM. For this example, I want to look at 10-degree cooling. So I'll enter -10 for our delta T temperature. And there you go. Once filling in all of the inputs and making sure there are no errors, you now have your valid outputs straight from our cloud-based data. Now, if adding on another line here, if I wanted a CF option without the plenum, I'll then just select CF. Let's go with horizontal application this time. So we'll select horizontal as projection and an AS pattern controller. As I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for horizontal performance, you must select AS pattern controller. Number of slots, let's go with a 2 slot this time. Slot width, let's stay with a 1 inch. Because we are looking at performance without a plenum, we must leave the inlet size blank. For length, let's go with a 4-footer. And then for CFM, we'll enter a valid CFM. Here, we'll go with 400 CFM. And like before, we now have populated performance. All right, and that concludes creating the different grills, registers, and diffuser schedules using the Excel toolkit. One last thing I want to note about the benefits of the tool is that with this tool, we give you access to our different price formulas that we use for our multiple different product groups. So for example, if I were to go on empty cell and I go equals price, I will then now have access to various different functions and formulas that we use for all our performance. Therefore, if not using our sample tables, you can take advantage of using our price engineer toolkit and implement some of the formulas that we use for performance within your own Excel sheets. As well, if you were wanting to know more information about how each of our outputs are calculated, you can then go to one of the output cells, go and select them, go under formulas, go insert function, and then here you can check out which of the input columns are being called out specifically for this output column and find out how a lot of these output columns are calculated as well. We give this free to you as part of the Excel toolkit. So that wraps it up for our presentation today. If you ever want to give us feedback, feel free to contact us. Again, you can find our contact under more information and contact us. Here you can give our feedback, or if you need support for using the tool or having any errors, feel free to email us here. As well, our update notes like previously mentioned, is going to be here. So if you're looking for the most newly added models or update notes and patch notes as well for a tool, you can find this under more information. As well, you can review the background work that it's doing under more information, going for GRDs. And here you can review the different functions and commands that we're using in the background for this tool if you want to learn more about the legwork that this tool is doing. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Gil Patriarca, and have a great day.